welcome back. Breaking. President Trump sets his next agenda and it's BIGLY. The GOP healthcare has failed. In his message today to the American people, President Trump sets his sights on tax reform. We're probably going right now for tax reform. Let's take a listen.
Very much. We were very close. It was a very, very tight margin. We had no Democrat support. We had no votes from the Democrats. They weren't going to give us a single vote, so it's a very difficult thing to do. I've been saying for the last year and a half that the best thing we can do, politically speaking, is let Obamacare explode. It is exploding right now. It's many states have big problems. Almost all states have big problems. I was in Tennessee the other day, and they've lost half of their state in terms of an insurer. They have no insurer, and that's happening to many other places. I was in Kentucky the other day, and similar things are happening. So Obamacare is exploding. With no Democrat support, we couldn't quite get there. We're just a very small number of votes short in terms of getting our bill passed. A lot of people don't realize how good our bill was because they were viewing phase one, but when you add phase two, which was mostly the signings of Secretary Price, who's behind me, and you add phase three, which I think we would have gotten, it became a great bill. Premiums would have gone down, and it would have been very stable, would have been very strong. But that's okay. But we're very, very close, and again, I think what will happen is Obamacare, unfortunately, will explode. It's going to have a very bad year. Last year, you had over 100% increases in various places. In Arizona, I understand it's going up very rapidly again, like it did last year. Last year was 116%. Many places, 50, 60, 70%. I guess it averaged, whatever the average was, very, very high. And this year should be much worse for Obamacare. So what would be really good, with no Democrat support, if the Democrats, when it explodes, which it will soon, if they got together with us and got a real health care bill, I'd be totally open to it, and I think that's going to happen. I think the losers are Nancy Pelosi and Chuck Schumer, because now they own Obamacare. They own it, 100% own it. And this is not a Republican health care. This is not anything but a Democrat health care. And they have Obamacare for a little while longer until it ceases to exist, which it will at some point in the near future. And just remember, this is not our bill, this is their bill. Now, when they all become civilized and get together and try and work out a great health care bill for the people of this country, we're open to it. We're totally open to it. I want to thank the Republican Party. I want to thank Paul Ryan. He worked very, very hard. I will tell you that. He worked very, very hard. Tom Price and Mike Pence, who's right here, our vice president, our great vice president. Everybody worked hard. I worked as a team player and would have loved to have seen it pass. But again, I think you know I was very clear, because I think there wasn't a speech I made, or very few, where I didn't mention that perhaps the best thing that could happen is exactly what happened today, because we'll end up with a truly great health care bill in the future after this mess known as Obamacare explodes. So I want to thank everybody for being here. It will go very smoothly, I really believe. I think this is something that certainly was an interesting period of time. We all learned a lot. We learned a lot about loyalty. We learned a lot about the vote-getting process. We learned a lot about some very arcane rules in, obviously, both the Senate and in the House. So it's been, certainly for me, it's been a very interesting experience. But in the end, I think it's going to be an experience that leads to an even better health care plan. So thank you all very much, and I'll see you soon. Thank you.
Is it now your intention to go for tax reform, or what's next on your...
We'll probably be going right now for tax reform, which we could have done earlier, but this really would have worked out better if we could have had some Democrat support. Remember this, we had no Democrat support, so now we're going to go for tax reform, which I've always liked.
And you're confident in Speaker Ryan's leadership and his ability to get things done?
Yes, I am. I like Speaker Ryan. He worked very, very hard. A lot of different groups. He's got a lot of...
Well, I look forward to the tax reform. Imagine getting your tax cut to like 15% from 30. Unreal, the amount of money that we'd have. I know I'd personally have. Dinesh D'Souza, no reason to freak out. It's okay for Donald Trump, the ultimate political outsider, to make some mistakes as long as he learns from them. No reason to freak out. Got Gorsuch right, the most important thing, and now he can get healthcare reform right. I suppose Trump was right. Just let Obamacare explode. Start from scratch. Just in, Rand Paul releases statement on pulling of healthcare bill. Rand Paul, who is opposed of it. I applaud House conservatives for keeping their word to the American people. I look forward to passing full repeal. And so do I. Today, U.S. Senator and physician Rand Paul released his following statement after U.S. House Speaker Paul Ryan pulled the American Health Care Act from a floor for the second day in a row. I applaud House conservatives for keeping their word to the American people, Paul said. Earlier this month, Dr. Paul introduced the Obamacare Repeal Act, which is the same legislation with an updated timeline to repeal major components of Obamacare that are overwhelmingly Republican majority sent to President Obama's desk in January of 2016. Looks like we have no other choice. A full repeal and replace now.